What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Today, EXO-6 has given us, finally, a next generation figure. And of course, we're looking at Lieutenant Commander Data. Now, Data is easily my favorite character from Star Trek The Next Generation, so I got all the feels for this guy, and I can't wait to give you my thoughts on it. So stick around if you guys like the video, hit the like button for me, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas. Showtime. Here we go.
Okay guys, so let's get into it here. So there are two different versions of Data that you can order right now from EXO-6. One is called the Essential version. Now, the Essential version looks like it's essentially the base version or the lower cost option. That comes in here at $190 plus a $25 flat rate. Now, it comes with a lot of the standard accessories that we normally see from these Star Trek characters. So you do see the one pair of relaxed hands. You see that one left phaser holding hand, the right tricorder holding hand, the boots, of course, which is not necessarily an accessory, but worth mentioning. You do get that display base, the hexagonal display. You also do get the Type 2 hand phaser, and of course the TR-580 tricorder. Again, fairly standard accessories now that we've seen with some of these other Star Trek figures. Now, I think the big separating difference here for Data is, of course, the standard version, which I would honestly have called the deluxe version at this point. Essential and standard I find are a bit of a confusing naming convention, but the standard version comes in at quite a bit higher of a price at $230 plus a $25 flat rate shipping. Now, that set does though include two different versions of Data's cat Spot, which I think is fantastic. I love Spot. Great character in the show. I mean, it's a cat, so it's only as much of a character as a cat can be. But the emotional catharsis Data has with regards to Spot, especially when you get to the Generations film, you can't beat it. When Data finds Spot in the crashed Enterprise, honestly, it brings a tear to my eye every single time. But again, Spot also helps Data learn how to love, even though he's an android and not necessarily capable of love. And I always loved that story beat. So I think, in my opinion, Spot is a necessary accessory when it comes to Lieutenant Commander Data. Now, the other separating difference between the Essential version and the Standard version is that it says here in the description that it will actually come with a second Data head sculpt as well, with essentially an opening to display what Data looks like on the inside, his android components. And I think that that is pretty cool. In terms of an additional, call it $40 to $50, I think two spots and an extra head sculpt is actually worth the price of admission there. When I initially saw the $230 price tag, I was like, holy crap, that seems expensive. But when you start thinking about all the things that it comes with, not bad. But let's take a better look at this actual figure itself. Data is one of my favorite characters of all time, so I am a little bit biased when it comes to this. Star Trek The Next Generation is also my favorite Star Trek series of all time. Now, one of the things that I find confusing about these solicitation photos is it shows Data at the con. Now, the con, of course, is the control center essentially for the flight of the Enterprise. Data controls that on the bridge, and I thought it would have been really cool for Data to come with the con. In fact, I actually thought that it would. I thought that'd be a package deal. But it's looking like through EXO-6 that the con, while it's teased here in these photos, does not come with the figure. That may or may not be an additional accessory, kind of like the captain's chair was down the line at some point. Hopefully cost isn't too crazy on that, because I think honestly, if you're going to try and recreate your bridge, you're going to want at least two cons, not just one, and maybe a Wesley Crusher at some point, or a Geordie LaForge in the red outfit, like the original, right? But hard to say. Now, the figure itself, I do think Data's coloration, at least in these photos, looks a little bit too tanned. Now, that might just be the lighting, because Data obviously is an android. He has virtually no skin pigmentation at all. He's very, very pasty white due to the makeup applied to the actor, Brent Spiner. but in the photos here, it looks a little dark. It does, however, look like a different head sculpt than we got from the first Contact version, which I do appreciate. It does look essentially like a younger version of Data. While I understand Data really shouldn't be able to age, the human character portraying that character does age. And first Contact, he looks older in the makeup than he did in the Next Generation. That's just the way it goes. And I think this head sculpt portrays that actually pretty well. I do like the expression on the face. It has got that kind of inquisitive look that Data often has when he's saying things like fascinating or just anything that comes with regards to Data. I love that aspect of it. Now the outfit looks pretty well tailored. I don't really have much in the way of any complaints there. The texturing and the material on the yellow section does look a little odd up close, but I think it will be fine in a collection. Honestly, I think most people, including the big hardcore Star Trek fans like myself, will think it looks badass. So I'm not too concerned about that aspect of it. For the $190 price tag for the Essential version, I think that is a reasonable price if you don't feel like you need Spot in your collection. But when we take a look at the rendering here for the subtly different face sculpts, I think that also looks pretty cool. I like that you get those with that standard version, or aka the deluxe version. Really, again, they really should have called that a deluxe version. I think that's a strange naming convention, but it is of course not up to me. I also appreciate though that these photos are pretty dialed in, unlike some of the other photos we've seen of EXO-6 characters that kind of come in a little blurry, I'm not gonna lie. These ones are pretty clear. I feel like we're getting a better picture of what this figure is actually going to look like in our collection, to which I appreciate. Now, when it comes to Lieutenant Commander Data, for me, Star Trek The Next Generation, this is a must buy for this guy. I will buy it. Even though I already have First Contact Data in my collection, I need a bridge crew version of Data. And I'm getting really excited that they're really starting to dive into the Next Generation line then, if that's the case. Obviously, we've seen Q already. We've seen the First Contact, Picard, and Data. So we've had a little bit of Next Generation, but not the bridge crew yet. And this is a good start. I was not very happy with how I saw the Voyager line come together. While I'm happy collectors were able to collect a Voyager line, don't get me wrong, there was some hits and misses there, and I know you guys know my opinions on those already, so I won't dive too much into that. But this is a good start for the Next Generation line because this Data does look pretty good. I would give the likeness here, honestly, pretty close to an 8.5 to 9 out of 10, which for EXO-6 right now is an absolute win. So, bravo EXO-6. I'm excited again. It's got my juices flowing. I'd love to hear from you guys in the community though. Are you guys going to pick this version up? Which version are you going to get? The Essential version or the Standard version? I think I need the spots. The spot is a little bit soft, I will say. I mean, it's a sculpted cat, so I'm not expecting too much. I like that you got two versions of Spot in the Standard version. I think that's pretty cool. But he's a little plasticky, but I mean, honestly, he's still almost better than Einstein was for my Marty McFly, so I can't honestly, and that was from Hot Toys, so I can't honestly judge them too hard on that. And again, if you're a huge Star Trek nerd like myself, and you see Data carrying Spot, that is going to bring a tear to your heartstrings, unquestionably. So guys, let me know in the comments down below, are you getting the Essential version? Are you getting the Standard version? And are you as excited about this version of Data as I am? Are you gonna buy the whole Next Generation line if it comes? Or are you gonna be selective about what characters you put in your collection? I know a lot of people are out lately because of some of the hit and miss versions that we've seen of these characters. But I think Next Generation is gonna get a lot of love from both the collector community and EXO-6, the developer. So I'd love to hear from you guys down below. If you guys liked the video today, hit the like button for me, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody.